Shabbat Shalom. Our Torah portion this week is Parshat Naso. And if you have ever been to a Jewish life cycle event, or if you have seen Fiddler on the Roof, you have probably heard a piece of the text that is within this Torah portion. It is called the priestly blessing, Yevarechecha Adonai veYishmerecha, and so forth. May God bless you and keep you, or may the Lord protect and defend you, perhaps you know from Fiddler. This is a beautiful part of this portion, but there is something that is a little more esoteric that is also a part of the portion that I want to share with you today. And I think it has some deep relevance to how we should be living our lives. Now, it's pretty esoteric, and so this particular thing may not have, at first glance, relevance to how we're actually living our lives. And that is the Nazirite, the behavior of the Nazirite. A Nazirite took a vow to refrain from any kind of fruit of the vine, so wine, but also grapes or vinegar, anything made from that fruit of the vine, and also took a vow not to cut their hair. Usually this was done for a short period of time. There are some famous Nazirites who lived their entire life that way. We're told about Samson, the story of Samson and Delilah. And when Samson's hair was cut, his famous strength suddenly vanished. And so it's told that his strength came from this abstinence from cutting his hair and not drinking wine. But most Nazirites are only taking a vow for a short period of time. And then there is a conclusion to that time period. Now, Rashi talks about this and says that at the end, it points out that at the end of the Nazirite's vow, the Nazirite needed to bring a sin offering. So we have two things operating here. On the one hand, it seems that these people, these Nazirites, are going above and beyond the call of duty, that they're trying to access some deeper kind of holiness by going the extra mile, abstaining from wine, doing something that brought them even further into a ritual behavior that is meant to be holy. And on the other hand, there is some kind of sin that is embedded here, because to complete the vow of the Nazirite, you would have to bring a sin offering. Now, this seems to be very contradictory, and many rabbis have tried to figure out what this is all about. One, I really liked this interpretation, and this is a student of the Baal Shem Tov, and his name was Rabbi Dovid Perkis. And he noted that in the first of Rashi's commentaries, the Nazirite, the person in question, had just literally witnessed, also in our Torah portion, the very worst of humanity. And that made sense for the Nazirite then to abstain from wine. Why? Because wine has this ability to exacerbate or deepen or make more of the personality of a human being. And if you are the kind of person who can witness the worst in humanity, who can really see the bad parts of other people, then maybe you shouldn't drink wine, because maybe that trait in you will be exacerbated. And Rashi points out that also there is a kind of holiness about that if you know that your tendency is to see the worst and you refrain from doing something that makes you see the worst in someone, that's holy. But what about the opposite? What if your natural tendency is to see the good in all people? Then drinking wine would necessarily deepen that trait in you and make you see the good in people all the more, make you celebratory, make you festive, make you full of joy, and make you see all of the good. So in that case, to abstain from wine, to refrain from doing something that brought more good into the world, that of course would be a sin, and you would need to bring a sin offering. So here we have it. It depends on the kind of person that you are. If you see the good in people, do everything you can, everything in your power to do that even more. And if you have a tendency to see the negative in people, do everything in your power to abstain from that. Now, we know that we do have enemies in this world, and we should believe people who say that they want to destroy us. We should listen to them. But it's also a challenge not to attribute evil to places where it is not. When given the choice, without evidence, we should aim to see the best in people. When given the choice to see someone as evil or naive, our option is really to see them first as naive until it is proven that they, in fact, are doing something out of malice. So take this with you this week. Try to look at every person around you with a positive judgment, just like you would want them to look at you. Also realizing that there are some cases in which that is not possible. We hope for the most part that it is. Shabbat Shalom.